supposedly because of Russian oil.
Right, so absolutely. I request you to stay on with us as we shift our focus to some other news that we are tracking. Well, in an exclusive interview aired yesterday, the U.S. President Donald Trump spoke about various geopolitical issues, including the Russia-Ukraine war. Trump expressed his disappointment over the shooting of drones near Poland. He also stated that he is not sure if the drone incursion was a mistake or not. Take a listen.
So I'm disappointed. If you listen to some people, the ones like in Poland were shot down and they fell into Polish territory, but they shouldn't have been that close anyway. They were drones. And
do you think it was a mistake? The Polish prime minister said it was not a mistake, that they were intentionally into Polish territory.
I can't comment on whether it was a mistake or not. They shouldn't have been there, let's face it. But supposedly they were disabled.
The U.S. president further expressed his dissatisfaction with the European nations and the NATO. According to him, they are buying Russian oil slyly, aiding the war. This comes as the president had put additional sanctions on nations like India for purchasing Russian oil. Let's in fact take a listen to what the leaders stated.
European Union nations or the NATO nations, because they're similar, very similar, when they're buying oil from Russia, that's not the greatest thing. That's not the deal. And I let it be known, and people were surprised to hear that, but they were doing it quietly and slyly. And you can't do that. If you're going to win, you're going to have to not buy oil from Russia.
Mr. Spencer Critchley continues to be with us on the broadcast. So I'd like to understand from you, were there any hopes that Putin would fall in line and agree to a ceasefire, or was this something that was perhaps expected? What do you make of it?
I think President Trump may have been pretty close to the last person in the world, at least who isn't living inside the Russian propaganda bubble, who was surprised at that. Let me say, by the way, that I would say that while it doesn't in any way change my opinion of Mr. Trump's utter lack of fitness as a leader, I agree with him about Russian oil purchases in principle. I wish all other countries would stop buying Russian oil and treat Russia as the international pariah that it should be seen as. I recognize that it can be impossible for a country to just suddenly shut off all Russian oil imports because of the economic impact that would cause domestically, in some cases causing real hardship, for example, with heating oil during winter months in cold countries. And also I would note that the European Union has reduced its imports of Russian oil in just a matter of a couple of years by a factor of something like 15 times. And I believe the EU-wide importation of Russian oil as a percentage of their total oil and gas imports is something like 2.5% or something of all of their imports. So, I think this is yet another red herring by President Trump. For some reason, he is just incredibly reluctant to actually enact any kind of sanctions or take any action that Putin would actually notice. He will threaten these days, finally. He has finally realized that Putin is not his best friend like he thought he was. But he keeps saying he's considering sanctions, and he may be about to impose sanctions, and here they come, but they never arrive. And I think that this claim that, you go first, all of Europe must go first and completely end all of their imports of Russian oil, and then supposedly Trump would do that has no credibility.
Right, absolutely. I request you to stay on with us.